Hey guys, Omni here. Another film I saw this weekend was Netflix's The Mitchells vs. the Machines. Now, this wasn't originally meant to be a Netflix exclusive, but because of COVID and all that, they got removed from the theatrical lineup, and distribution rights ended up going to Netflix. This is the latest and honestly the first original film in quite some time from Sony Pictures Animations, the studio behind Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Some of the same creative minds as well. Of course, this is executive produced by Phil Lord and Chris Miller. This was also directed by Mike Rianda, who you might know from his work on Gravity Falls. He also wrote this alongside Jeff Rowe. The cast in this, I'm not going to get too deep in the woods on because there is an all-star voice cast behind this. There are more names on this than I recognize than not. So we're not really going to get into that too much because just listing off everybody that plays a part in this movie would just take too much time out of this review. I had a blast with this. After the success they had with Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, this animation team just knows how to do animation in a very kinetic, energized, and stylized way that makes it stand out from pretty much every other animation studio out there right now. My favorite thing about this movie is the animation, the energy, the style of it. That mix of CGI and hand-drawn comic booky elements that we loved in Spider-Verse are very apparent and prevalent here, and it helps the kinetic energy of this movie move forward. In this film, we're following a dysfunctional-ass family, the Mitchells, who all have their own little quirk. Our primary focus is on the daughter, Katie, who is an aspiring filmmaker who just wants to go. She's applied to film school in California, and her dad is this rough and tumble guy who loves the outdoors, nature, all that stuff, and thinks he's just scared of his daughter going off and taking a risk on art, on film, and should try to do something a little safer, or at least have a backup plan. And of course, the typical story I'm very familiar with, having went into school for art and now doing this as a little side gig compared to the IT stuff I've been doing. That was my fallback, and that's where I'm at. Anyway, it goes into the story too about technology. Obviously, while this whole thing culminates in a father-daughter attempt at rebonding as they do this, rather than her fly off to school that she gets accepted into to try to fix and mend their relationship, decide to instead take a road trip across the country to drop her off at her college before saying goodbye. And while they're on this journey, of course, being the day and age we're in, there's a lot of focus on eye contact, putting away your phones, and trying to live in the moment.
How about we put our phones down and we can make 10 seconds of unobstructed family eye contact. Starting now. See, this is good right here. This is natural.
Basically, the entire world in this runs off of this one operating system, it seems like. And they release this update that corrupts everybody's phones. They create this like in-home AI unit encased in like a robot form, kind of like iRobot. Honestly, iRobot was the first thing I thought of when I saw this. If you remember that back with Will Smith, kind of the same thing. They build this built-in AI unit that lives in your home, cleans your house, does your stuff, buys your things. It's like Alexa with legs and arms. That's the premise of this. The AI goes bad and starts to take over the world while they are on this journey, until the point they are the only family that has not been captured by these robots, and the insanity ensues. Throughout this journey, though, there are some twists and some turns through this that I thought were really cute and really well handled, to be honest. I thought it was really endearing, some of the bits with the characters. It was genuinely funny here and there when it wasn't just being like this, like old person's YouTube poop style of humor. This ADHD craziness that, was probably prevalent a lot more during the early days of YouTube, but not so much anymore. That is basically the idea of YouTube in this. And there's a lot of elements in here because Katie is our focal character, we see a lot of her imagination animated visually. So a lot of the scenes that she's in, we're seeing also this YouTube poop kind of style creep into reality as the movie is actually happening. Can be very distracting at times, but at the end of the day, it never really took me out of the movie all that much. But it is like a minor annoyance, but whatever. At the end of the day, though, this doesn't have that whole, like, the lesson of the movie isn't technology bad. And this is where I want to give the movie some credit. At the end of this, it does settle into technology's not bad. It is how much you instill into it, how you use it.
I gave you all boundless knowledge, and you treated me like this.
And I like that about it. It didn't just settle into technology bad, which is like where I felt like that was the go-to place this was going to head, especially with them kind of having this versus the machines title in the film. I love that they kind of subverted that. At the end of it, there's this acceptance of technology, but there's also got to be this acceptance of responsibility of how we utilize the technology. And I like that about the movie. Again, the family, the characters are all amazing, just really endearing. The mother character probably ended up being my favorite character in the movie. She was so funny. And her little arc and role that she plays in the family unit, I could relate to in real life, having known parents quite like this one. I love this film. It was cute. It was charming. It's definitely flawed, but I had a good time with it. It was just kind of came on, and I decided to actually sit through it. And I was like, all right, this was actually a pretty fun little surprise. I got myself kind of glued and locked into it. The animation really kind of helped get me sucked into it because I thought it was beautiful and beautifully animated. But yeah, it was a good little ride. I do recommend it. It is a fun watch. If I had to rate this film, I'd probably give it a good solid B- for some of those weird like ADHD moments. I wish they could have kind of reined it in just a little bit. Again, a lot of the social media technological references are all kind of dated, or at least come off like they were from an older mindset that has this older perception on how everything works and is right now. Aside from that, I thought everything else in the movie worked, and I give it a strong recommendation. Guys, have you seen The Mitchells versus the Machines? If you have, sound off the comments. Let me know your thoughts down below, and we'll carry on the conversation after the video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Before we go, I do want to give a shout out to our channel legends, Mandy Sherritt, Antoine Rodriguez, Ryan Karen, and Jason Coleman. Thank you guys so much for your support. Thank you everybody who's been joining the Patreon, becoming a YouTube member, or just joining the Discord, liking the videos, watching the videos, commenting on the videos. All of that shows your support for the channel, and I appreciate and love all of you. Remember, links to all that, the Discord, my socials, everything is in the description of the video, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Take care, everybody.